All right, we have even more surface area and volume for today. So we are looking at the first one. Find the total surface area. We look to see what kind of shape do we have. This may be confusing, but we actually have a prism here. It does have a consistent shape. Even though you're like, no, it's tapering, you're right. It does taper, but that's because the base is a triangle. And it's a prism that's kind of turned on its side. But if you look at this triangular base, it keeps that same form the entire way through the prism to the other side, to the other base. So this is going to be a triangular prism. And it's triangular because, again, in a prism, you're choosing the non-rectangular side. The surface area formula is the perimeter times the height plus 2 base areas. We start off by finding the perimeter of our base, which is that perimeter of the triangle. You may have missed this, but if you look right down here, there is a right angle there, which means Pythagorean theorem. 12 squared plus 16 squared gives me that missing side squared right there, which ends up being 20. So the perimeter, remember the perimeter is adding up all those sides. 12 plus 16 plus 20. The perimeter of my triangle is going to be 48 inches. So we've got 48. This h, if I look at this h right here, this is coming from the total surface area formula. So this h is going to be the height of the prism, which is how far are you extending that prism, which is going to be 5. That h is not the height of the triangle. Plus 2 times big B. So big B is the base area. That means it's the area of the triangular base, which is 1/2 base times height. Now we see that h come up again. This is when we think back to yesterday's video, that clarification between h's and different formulas. This is in the triangular formula, so I'm looking just at the triangle. I can't use any numbers that are not part of this triangle. The base and the height are perpendicular. The two sides that run perpendicular are 12 and 16. So a base of 16, a height of 12, 1/2 of 16 times 12. 1/2 of 16 is 8 times 12 gives us 96 inches squared. And remember, you have two of those bases, one here, one here. Base 1, base 2. So remember, you can put all of this in your calculator at once, or you can multiply these two pieces and then those two pieces, and then add them all together to get 432 inches squared because we have area. Next we have our sphere. Our sphere, remember, we want to do two things this time. We want total surface area and we want volume. And this one is harder because for both formulas, total surface area 4 times pi times radius squared, volume 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. I just need the radius. I didn't give you the radius, but I did give you circumference. Remember, circumference is 2 times pi times r. So if it's 2 times pi times r is equal to 12 pi, 2 times what radius gives me 12? Yep, that's 6. I would have to have a radius of 6 because 2 times pi times 6 would give me that 12 pi. So this right here, although I'm not going to directly use it, it allows me to find that my radius is going to be 6 feet. And then I can go ahead and plug them in. 4 times pi times 6 squared. Remember, do 4 times 6 squared in your calculator, which gives you 144, and then add the pi back on. We don't want to put the pi in our calculator or we'll get decimals. For volume, it's 4/3 pi times 6 cubed Again, we do 4/3 times 6 cubed. We don't include the pi, which we get 288. Then we put the pi back on. Volume is feet cubed. Okay, next. Find the total surface area of the pyramid. We have our shape. The pyramid is 1/2 perimeter of the base times the slant height plus the base area. Here is the base of my pyramid. So we start off with the perimeter. That is 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, giving us a perimeter of 48. So we've got 1/2 times 48. Now we need this fancy cursive L. And remember, the L there is the slant height. The slant height is not 10. The slant height is the height of that triangular face. When I drop that altitude down, it splits the 12 into 6 and 6. And if I go over here, and I drop down. Oh, I don't need to drop down. I'm just looking, okay, sorry. Let's look at this triangle right here. I can find my slant height by doing Pythagorean theorem with this piece. 6 squared, this base, plus the other side length of L squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. And then we find that our slant height here is going to be 8. Plus our big B, which is base area, base times height, or length times width, which is 144. Again, you can put all of that into your calculator at once, or you can multiply those 3 together first, and then add the 144 on to find 336, in this case, yards squared. Our last one. So we've done a problem like this when we did our 2-dimensional. It's words based versus picture based, which is fine. So we have a pyramid, so we know which shape we're looking at. And our pyramid has a square base, and it has a volume of 120 cubic meters. So we know which unit of measurement we have. We have volume, which is 1/3 base area times height, because we knew which formula to use because it was a pyramid. And I told you that the volume was 120. The volume, that's our V. So 120 equals 1/3. It has a height of 10 meters. Well, that right there, that's my H. So base area times 10. Now, if I do 1/3 times 10, I'm getting decimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel out this 1/3 by multiplying both sides by 3, because 1/3 times 3 is just 1. That gives me 360 over here equals base area times 10, divide by 10, and my base area is 36. So now we have to go back, and it says that we have a square base. So we have to think about if I have a square and the base times height is 36, but the base and the height have to be the same number, what number squared gives me 36? Yep, that is 6. So my side is going to be 6 meters long. All right, and that is it for today's video.